Hello everyone, this is Yella, your friendly advisor in Ireland. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you are doing well. In today's video, we are going to talk about something Warren Buffett and his friends and colleagues, as well as the entire financial world, do talk about compounding. Whether you are just starting out, within the investment world or looking to grow your wealth, understanding compounding is key to achieving your financial goals. Imagine something like this, right? You plant a seed. At first, you don't see it grow for some amount of time, even when you put time, water, and have sunlight. But suddenly it grows into a big tree, and that's exactly how compounding works with your money, right? The fruits from that tree are like dividends, which you get every year, and enjoy the money and all. But again, um, compounding was a simple interest, right? The simple difference is on simple interest, you'll be getting a fixed amount on the principal you have invested every year or every month. Whereas in compounding, you reinvest that interest into the same investment or different investment, and the interest also earns interest, and it's a snowballing effect at the end of the day. The longer you run it, the bigger the pot will be. But is compounding really compounding? The rest of the video talks about uh, why compounding is not compounding, and there are few risks even with compounding that you need to really take care of. So, without further ado, let's just jump in. And my last statement that, compounding is not compounding what you think is, again, the title of my presentation today. I'm going back to the old model where I can show few graphics and all. I'm trying to buy a few cameras and few setups so that I also do the jazzy version of these people that you see on other YouTube channels. Again, why the reason why compounding is not compounding is for because of few factors, and I'm going to talk about those factors now. I of From my research and from my own portfolio that I have, I found these five factors to be actually true. Now, before we get into the other things, right? You can see there, if let's say you invest $1,000 today and returns 5% interest, your investment still, just stays the same if you don't invest in anything and you have $1,000 at home. Let's say if you did the same thing 5% in a simple interest where you are not reinvesting your interest, you'll end up with 2,500 after 30 years. But if you do, you know, reinvest your interest every year and interest, you'll probably end up with 4,300. Like it's 4.3 times over 30 years for $1,000 investment on compounding. And on simple interest, it's 2.5 times. But is that true? Do you really get 4.3 times of your investment if you keep, investing and all? To understand that, let's move on to the next slide. The expectation is, let me turn off my video. Yeah, that will be fantastic. The expectation is the compound will look like this graph, as it goes up. And what I did here is you are investing $200 per month for 30 years, and the total cost of your investment is $72,000 over 30 years. And this calculator, you can find it. Again, calculator name is called Saving Taxes Inflation Calculator. You can find it on 360 degree. You can just search for 360 financial literacy. You'll get this calendar. Okay. And I have inputted numbers like the amount currently invested zero, expected return 10%. I'm going with 10% because S&Ps over the time return is 10%, but over last 35 years, I think it is 7.5%. So this can change. For old sake or for just for calculation sake, I'm going with 10%. I'm saying we are not expecting any inflation rate over the years, and there are no taxes. In that case, your 72,000 at the end of 30 years is 415K, which is close to, almost six times, 5.5 times, roughly there, times your cost of investment. The expectation is that our money compounds like this, but it's not true. The first factor is inflation. I did not consider inflation in our previous graph. Even if you add 2% of inflation, your expected investment portfolio drops from 415K to 229K. That's like 190K drop, like 45% of your portfolio is gone. And imagine Ireland, right? In last 5, 6 years, the inflation moved from 2% to 5% to 2.5. Now I think it's 2.45. That's the running percentage. So this percentage can change, but over 30 years long run, I'm going with 2% because that's how I see. We are in an era of deflation that's actually happening in Japan. That might happen in the Western world in future because of the lot of demographic factors and how things are run. So inflation has a huge effect. That's first factor. The second factor is taxes. So again, I ran the same thing on 33% federal tax rate. 30% is the capital gains tax rate in Ireland. The exemption of capital gains tax is just 1270 per year. But if you're investing over 30 years, you want to take all the money at the end of 30 years. And that adds additional 33% burden on your capital gains. That adds to 107K further drop. So your cost of investment is $70,000 and you're getting 122,863 at the end of 30 years, right? Uh, over five maybe yeah, it's 56 per 1.56 times your cost of investment. Not good money. And the post office gives you kind of 16% every 10 years. So imagine 30 years, a little compounding, it'll end up being in the same amount as this, right? Or little less than that, but it'll be very similar to this. So, and that is tax free, right? So in this case, the inflation and taxes are not really helping you, right? So second factor is taxes. Always consider taxes when you're investing. One of the reasons I invest heavily in pension funds in Ireland is this because retirement funds have a different pathway. You can take 200K tax free, 200 to 500K, 20% tax, and over 500K, it'll be usual income tax. But again, you can do a withdrawal, systematic withdrawal, like a annual payment. That way you can control taxes and play around taxes. Okay. The third factor is fees. We never consider fees when you're investing. Whenever you are investing in a pension fund, mutual fund, the NAV already considers fees, transaction costs as part of the NAV value itself. And if you're doing, stocks or other investments, they also have transaction fees and other kind of fees that you pay to the provider who is helping you to invest, right? I went with 1%. That's the industry norm and average that I see. You see, it brought down 2000 on your investments further down. So 72K over 30 years gets you 120K, not big money. And it's because of taxes, inflation, and fees. Imagine how much extra you have to contribute monthly if you want to make money. And no one talks about this. And even your friends may not be talking about it. But yeah, I'm just trying to bring it to your notice that, okay, these are the other impacts. So choose your investments wisely. That's the third factor. The fourth factor, again, this is, I call it sequence risk. And I think there's this concept called financial risk. Um, if you see here in the first one, impact of dispersion, the first example is simple interest, 10%, 10%, 10%, and your simple average is 10%. That's how simple interest works. Here or India, the simple interest doesn't really change drastically, or, you know, in a FD or a fixed deposit. Whereas the other ones are, you're investing in a stock, okay? If you see the second example, you get 10% first year, 20% in second year, 0% in the last year. The average is 9.7. 5, 25, 0, 9.49. If you got 30% in first year, second year, minus 20%. third year 20%, 7.66. This particular case did happen to me in 2019, 2021, and 2022. Positive, negative, positive, and effectively it didn't grow. My pot did not grow much in those years, and that does happen. The last example, um, God forbid, when you're retiring, you do not have this particular example, right? It will completely get down your portfolio down to, right? First year, good return, great return. Second year, very good return, and third year, you got a native return, and the effective compound average rate is 2.98. Imagine in 2050 when you want to retire, in 2049 there's a market slump and you had 2 million in it and the market slumped 50%, right? And if you take out money, then you are losing 50% of the portfolio value that you earned till date. So in that case, I would advise you to move into debt before you retire, where it grows or falls by 1%, 2%, right? So that when you retire, you can go for systematic withdrawal plan. I mean, withdraw the money as part of retirement pensions, and that will probably help you much better. The same thing here, all right? So it can go positive, negative, negative, positive, and all, right? You need to, in the initial years, these are like I started investing in pension fund in 2019 March. So initial years, you'll have positive, positive, not much growth. But over the years, the number of positive years are more. If the number of positive years are much more than like at least doubles the negative years, then you'll see something on your, the impact of compounding. You can observe it. Again, impact of native returns. If you see, first year you got 10%, second year you lost 10%. Uh, required to break even, you need 10%. Whereas in example two, first year negative, you need more. And as the returns go up, you'll be losing more money. So the sequence, you need to remember that uh, the more good years at the start will help your your investment portfolio grow well, but more negative returns even at the end of your the time you want to withdraw, it is also bad uh, in that case. So you need to be aware of that particular risk with respect to compounding. And the fifth factor is compounding is not smooth. Whoever says compounding looks like this graph here, the fourth one under compounding, it doesn't go that way. Again, from other four factors, you would have all observed it. It'll be going up and down, up and down. So you need to be prepared for it. But anyways, do I uh, believe in compounding? Yes, I believe in compounding, right? And I prepare for these factors. The first thing I would probably do to um, ensure that I don't become a victim of inflation is I will step up my contributions every month. Let's say I'm contributing only 200 now. I'll be increasing my contributions by 2% every year so that negates the inflation risk. Now, the second factor, taxes. For taxes, what I will do is I will plan in such a way that I pay less taxes at the end of the portfolio or move it to tax saving investments at the end of the 30-year period where I want to take the money. Though I'll not get great returns on for 2 to 3 years, but at least I'll be saving on tax, which is huge, as you observed. And the third thing on the fees, this is something we can't avoid. But if you're investing in individual stocks and all, I think ETFs, index-based ETFs are cheaper. Um, and you need to look for those investments which are still attached to, higher risk or lower risk based on your um, interest with an investment and find out which actually take less cost and invest in those. Um, and in US 401k or 14k, I don't know. Here pension funds, these are all low fees, low cost, uh, tax efficient, and where you can see actually compounding is happening. That's the video for today. I hope you understood few more things about compounding and how your investment should look like. And if you have any questions, do drop in comment. And do remember, you can fall 7 times, but if you stand up on the eighth time, you'll be doing great. And that's how compounding works. Hope you like my video. Do subscribe to my channel and do share this video with other friends who are interested in investing. And if you really like my video, do share with your friends. Thank you and have a good day.